The Big 12 Experience Week 3 Preview and Picks edition on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use our promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. Welcome, everybody, into the Big 12 College Experience. Week 3, baby. Week 3 is upon us, and, man, it is going to be a hell of a weekend in the Big 12. A lot of trap games, a lot of rivalry games. Got a little bit of everything. Kicking off here in less than 3 hours, we got Arizona State, the hottest team in the league, headed to San Marcos, Texas, to take on the Bobcats. We'll go game-by-game preview, and we will give out our lock dog and our money line round robin at the end. But first off, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And Big 12 football upon us, so we got to bring in the walking contradiction because he was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. Co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show, Rambling Rush. Week 3, Rush.
Backyard Brawl week. Let's get after it, man. This is Eat Shit Pitt week. So join us right after this show. We'll be going live on the Ryan and Rush Show, break down the good old Backyard Brawl. Obviously, we'll talk about it a little bit today. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate. We talked with Colby yesterday on the Ryan and Rush Show that, we're not playing Thanksgiving weekend. But, hey, some Backyard Brawl is better than none. So we'll take it.
Indeed. So let's go, baby. Let's go. Any thoughts on just the slate altogether outside of the brawl? I know we have our thoughts on the game, but outside of the brawl, your thoughts on the Big 12 slate?
Well, I think we see this in week 3 across football. I would even throw the NFL and all of college football in this. This is where you kind of start seeing what different teams in their identity and seeing which teams are in what position, right? You never want to go 0-3. If you can at least go 1-2, if you're in 0-2 position, or, in West Virginia's case, go 2-1, you still should be in play, get ready for conference season. But this is that week where your conference can still prove, hey, we're the Big 12, we should be taken seriously. And you have those opportunities to make those marks against other non-conference teams. But also, this is kind of where teams start solidifying their identities. And we know going into conference play, hey, what are these teams? So very, very pivotal week, very important week 3. And just curious to see what we're going to get. And now you have a proper sample size and have an idea of what you're dealing with each team.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This is it almost starts feeling a little bit like separation week a little bit. And maybe some of these teams that have not played well, maybe they put it together finally. And then we see, hey, this is why they had some expectations in the preseason, or some teams that got off to maybe of a fluky fast start, a 2-0 start. Maybe they come back a little bit. We'll break down the Thursday night game here, kick it off in less than 3 hours on the other side. But first, we need to talk about, it's college football and NFL season. No shit, Sherlock. Get in there and make sure you're subscribed to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and the College Football Experience for free picks on every single game against the spread and moneyline round robins. Get on over there today. All right, Rush, let's do it, man. Rapid fire, and we got a doozy here to start off the college football week 3. Rush, when we were breaking this down 2 weeks ago, we're like, man, Arizona State could be 0-2 headed into San Marcos. We thought Texas State would be good, obviously, out of the G5. But, hey, pleasant surprise here. Arizona State, 2-0, looking to go 3-0 in this non-con with wins over Wyoming and Mississippi State. This will be their first game away from Tempe. Texas State's laying 2.5 now, so this has had some line movement. Opened, I think, Arizona State -2 or -2.5. Now flipped through the 0, just short of 3. I think I'm going to take the Bobcats, man. I think this place is going to be absolutely rocking. I like what I've seen from Dillingham and Arizona State. I just need to see it away from Tempe. Sam Levitt struggled. I think he had less than 100 yards passing last week. I know they got off to a fast start, but I think Texas State is significantly better than Mississippi State and Wyoming, and it's a road game. This place is going to be on fire. I like the home team here laying the 2.5.
It is kind of funny. Like if you were to, a lot of people know going into this season, what the teams are made of. But like if you were to historically look at the schedule, right, and be like, Arizona plays Wyoming, Mississippi State, and Texas State. Guess which one's going to be the hardest opponent for them? You'd be like, oh, yeah, Mississippi State, of course, SEC, or even Wyoming, right? And it ends up being Texas State. It's a really good Texas State team. Crushed UTSA last week. It is in San Marcos, a tough place to play. This is a Texas State team that beat a Big 12 team in Baylor last year, beat it pretty good. So they're not scared of it. Texas State's looking for that. A lot of the times we look at, that next edition of who's going to, move up to a better group of 5 conference, or who's going to be that next power school. And a lot of teams are like, oh, JMU or Tulane, or Texas State's like, hey, don't forget about us. I think the line is very telling in this game. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there being like, oh, Arizona State's 2-0. I'm going to absolutely, take the points with them. I think that line's telling you Texas State's in for a solid beating of Arizona State. I'm with you here. I'm not scared to lay these points. Very curious how Arizona State is going to be outside of Tempe. I mean, if they can just come up and show just a very competitive game here and even lose by, say, a touchdown, but it's back and forth all game, Arizona State has nothing to be ashamed about at all this season. I mean, even if they do end up losing, 10, 2 touchdowns, Arizona State is still, I think from the Big 12 perspective, we're very happy with Arizona State and their non-conference play. But this just feels like, short week. It's time for them to be put back in their place going into Big 12 play. So I'm going to lay it with you. But our man Kennedy taking the underdogs again. And I will say, Kennedy does have the best record of all of us so far. When in doubt, he's 14-15. So basically flip a coin, right? And you'll at least go 500. So Kennedy hopefully helping us out here, Ryan, by taking Arizona State, not a clean sweep.
No doubt. Yeah, it's Kennedy. Kennedy has done a good job of weathering the storm. Week 1 was an ambush for us. Week 2 was a good week for us last week. So hopefully we ride that momentum from last week. Keep in mind, Arizona State's over-under win total preseason was 4.5. So a little bit of overachieving so far. If you had said they'd be 2-1 headed into the Big 12, we all would have taken it. So
yeah,
almost playing with house money a little bit tonight. Friday night, dude, Big 12 Sunflower Showdown is being showcased. I know they're in different games here, but we got a big game in Lawrence. We got a big game in Manhattan. The first game on the dock, I believe this is a 7:00 kickoff rush.
I'm so excited for the games tomorrow night.
Yeah,
it's a great slate.
This is a great game. This game is on ESPN. Kansas coming off that just shit loss against Illinois, where Jalon Daniels turned the ball over 3 times, basically gave them the game. They blew a second half lead. They honestly outplayed Illinois. They lost the turnover battle by 3 here. I know it's at the Children's Mercy Stadium here tonight, so it's not at Arrowhead. It's on campus. I like Kansas in a big way and a bounce back. These 2 teams just played in a bowl back in December. Kansas won by double digits. I know that doesn't really matter, but just a little historical perspective. I love Kansas in a big way here. Bounce back win by double digits. I think UNLV is a little bit fraudulent. I think that this is a tough spot. Their second road game in 3 games. I love Kansas here and a bounce back with Lance Leipold. Lay the 8.5 for me.
Yeah, it seems like I haven't looked at the splits yet on this game, but it seems like from social media and us doing podcasts throughout the week that everyone in the world's on UNLV and saying that UNLV could win this game big. And maybe they could. UNLV is a solid school. They've looked really good this year. I got to think that Kansas is a lot better than what we've seen. Even the Lindenwood win, I know what the score says, but what we saw still like left you hungry for more. And then obviously the Illinois game last week. This is the Kansas get right game, and from a West Virginia side of things, I have no problem if Kansas lays it on pretty thick here with going to Morgantown next week. You got to think that they got to win. They have too much talent not to start winning some of these games. So get one of those wins out of the way to come to Morgantown and hopefully lose. I have no problem laying this 8.5. I think Kansas is actually this is going to be one of those. Everyone was against us, and then we come out, win by at least 2 touchdowns. I really like Kansas in this game. And I will say too, kind of the theme. We talked a little bit about show, but at the top of the show, we talked about how this is kind of week 3's the get right spot. You start seeing teams, the separation and the identities here. This kind of feels like a week where I'm not scared to lay chalk. So no, a little chalky to start, but hey, Kennedy's not scared to lay chalk either. He's taking Kansas as well.
Rock chalk, baby. Let's go. Take some chalk. This kind of, and they, by the way, it's a blackout game. So remember last time they wore those blackout uniforms, they ran Illinois out of that building last year. So big night, Jalon Daniels bounce back with Devin Neal out of the backfield. Game of the weekend in the Big 12, another non-con game. That's a conference game. So it doesn't count towards their standings in the league, but obviously it's a bragging rights game and 2 teams that have Big 12 championship and playoff aspirations. The Arizona Wildcats been very underwhelming, I would say, in their 2 first games against New Mexico and Northern Arizona. On the other side, K-State found a way to win a game that they trailed a majority in, and Tulane didn't play well, but you got to tip your cap for finding a way to beat a team that's probably going to win 9-10 games on the road. Fox, Friday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, under the lights in Manhappiness. Kansas State is going to run all over them. Smash K-State -7.
This is a terrible matchup for Arizona, with Arizona trying to be a team that looks like the traditional Big 12 team that we keep talking about kind of from 10 years ago, right? We're going to win 64-58 type of thing. Kansas State's defense is solid. And if Arizona's defense isn't right, I think Avery Johnson literally and metaphorically is just going to run all over them. I think this is a great matchup for Avery Johnson, and to kind of get his feet wet, build that confidence back going into conference play, even though this kind of is a conference game. But I'm with you here, and I don't mean for us to keep agreeing. I think we're just so on the same page here. I have no problem laying these points with Kansas State. This could be a rout, and it could be a rout around halftime. I think too, with Kansas State escaping Tulane, and that's what we wanted. That was the prediction. Hey, just get out of Tulane with a win. Who cares if you cover? Who cares how it looks? Just win that game. This is the one. Okay, we got that monkey off of our back. Let's settle in, in Manhattan, and let's get a win over a hyped Arizona team, and they'll take off running from here.
And Rush, that's what they would do last year, where they would sneak by on the road, but then when they would get back in Manhattan, they would just drill teams. I remember that TCU night game or the UCF game and Baylor. They just drilled these teams in Manhattan. So kind of feels like the same script. Who's Kennedy got?
Kennedy's we're taking this whole Kansas thing. Both Kansases. He's all over Kansas State. He's sniffing this out too.
Did he take KU as well?
Yep.
Okay. So
the only one he differs with is Arizona State.
Oh, he's going 2-1. Good for you, Kennedy. All right. I'll tell you where else you could go 2-for-1. You want to go 3-0. And that's over at Underdog Fantasy. Get on over there and use our promo code TCESGPN as I fire up the Underdog app. Rush, what do you think about looking towards tomorrow night with this Kansas or this K-State and Kansas plays?
What do we have on Underdog in terms of over-unders for, let's do rushing, because you got 2 rushing quarterbacks there for Avery Johnson and Jalon Daniels.
The passing and rushing yards combined, higher 249.5 for Jalon Daniels, higher 249.5 for passing and rushing combined. For our guy, Avery Johnson, do we want to do 252.5 combined or just 43.5 rushing? Might just do 43.
It's only 43.5 rushing. Oh, yes. Higher on 43.5 rushing.
43.5. So that's 3-1. Do we want to give out something tonight over in the Texas State game? Where's Scattaboo? Scattaboo went for 262 the other day. His higher lowers
short week though.
I know 103.5. I kind of want to go lower on that one.
I agree. I'm with you.
Sell out to stop the run. All right, 6-1. Lower 103.5 for Scattaboo. Higher for Jalon Daniels, passing and rushing yards 249.5. They didn't offer just rushing yards exclusively, so we'll combine them. And then Avery Johnson, higher 43.5. That's just insulting. He's going to run for 100 plus, baby. 6-1. Get on over there to Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code, damn it, TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit. Offer up to 1,000 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. All righty, we are back on the Big 12 College Experience, and we move along on the slate to Saturday in the noon slate. The Cincinnati Bearcats laying 3.5, taking on Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio won outright in Cincinnati last year. It was a little misleading, I will say. Cincinnati did dominate the box score, and Emory Jones just continued to turn the ball over on downs or in the red zone. Man, Miami of Ohio's off a bye though.
Yeah, that's very important.
Tricky. Initially, I was like, I'm on Cincinnati. Bounce back off the Pitt debacle, but Miami of Ohio, man, they're a veteran group. They won the MAC last year. They almost won at Northwestern week 1. Now they have a week to get healthy, gear up. This is their Super Bowl. These two teams hate each other. The Redhawks, a.k.a. the Redskins. You know me, I love the Redskins. I'll take Miami of Ohio as a home dog here. Give me 3.5. I think this is a one-possession game, and I think it comes right down to a field goal at the end, and I think Miami of Ohio might get them again, to be honest. I think that might have been a dream crusher last week.
We got to stop agreeing. I completely agree. Miami's off the bye. They played decent against Northwestern. Yeah. They had an opportunity to win that game. Like you said, a veteran group coming in here. They have success. They know that they can beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati has all the air deflated out of them from that loss. Like, this is like, Miami's in a lot of trouble. Cincinnati's in a lot of trouble. Until Cincinnati, proves differently, I can't be on board with them. I really can't. I'm gonna take the 3.5 points with Miami. I could see Cincinnati winning on a field goal, but I don't see anything more than that. I think this might be just an ugly, grinded out game, and then maybe the team starts scoring in the fourth quarter, and then who just ever has the last possession gets it done. I have no problem taking these points with Miami.
And Rush, while you're flipping the coin, it just feels like these two teams are opposite in terms of with Gabbert and Miami of Ohio. They find a way to win games. Satterfield and Cincinnati, they always find a way to lose games. So
I agree.
Miami's
joining. Kennedy's joining us with Miami.
I like it. Go Redskins. You knew we were going to be on the Skins. Next up on the dock, we'll stay. This is 11 a.m. kick. This will be a home game for Oklahoma State in Tulsa.
Wait, 11.
Getting 18.5 as a, I guess, home dog, home-ish dog, home neutral dog. I'm going to take Tulsa, man. This is I'm not laying 18.5 with Gundy in September. They have Utah next week. They've talked about it that they've been saving the playbook for Utah. They're going to go through the motions, win by 10-14. Give me Tulsa on the neutral site game. Oklahoma State goes through the motions.
I think this is going to be more than a neutral site game. I think this might be equivalent to West Virginia fans going up to Pittsburgh, Oklahoma State fans going to Tulsa. Ryan, fortunately or unfortunately, we'll find out. Usually when we agree on stuff, it doesn't work out too great for us. I'm with you on Tulsa. I think there's another component to this too that we see in the non-conference a lot. Sometimes when it's an in-state game where it's not necessarily a rival, or you're going against coaching staffs that are familiar with one another, they're not trying to embarrass. I don't see Gundy. I think Gundy appreciates that Tulsa was willing to take this game on. I know it's at Tulsa, but they're aware it's going to be mostly Oklahoma State fans there. We saw this in week 3 last year, their South Alabama loss. I think Oklahoma State is just breathing a sigh of relief that they got out of the Arkansas game alive. I think this is a game where they go through the motions. Ollie Gordon, gets right here and kind of gets back into form. And they get out of there, maybe win by 10 points, 2 touchdowns. I think they're in control the whole time, but I don't think it's like they're just looking for the kill shot, at early in this game either. So I have no problem with the 18.5 against Tulsa. It feels like, hey, do the right things and then, on to Utah sort of thing. Kennedy's with us, man. We're all agreeing. This is scary.
And another note, Tulsa they lost by 9, and then they lost by, I think, 13 in the last 2 meetings. So it's kind of been in that 10 to 14 range. I'm interested to hear your take on this one. Let's go over to Lubbock. So we got another crowded noon slate in the Big 12. North Texas, the Mean Green are going to Lubbock. Texas Tech laying 9.5, 1-1 on the year. They have looked underwhelming. A lot of familiarity with these staffs and programs, but I think this is the back against the wall. Texas Tech pops up for this game. I think they were able to go 500 yards of offense without Taj Brooks last week. I don't trust North Texas on the defensive side of the football here. I'm going to lay it with Texas Tech. Come on, Joey McGuire. You got to get a nice little smash spot here before we go into Big 12 play. So I'll lay it with the Red Raiders. We need to see some life here.
This is the last time I'm taking Texas Tech. No, I'm with you. Like, this is the last time that if they don't, come through, I'm taking them. They Abilene Christian, tough game. Washington State gets shellacked. Like, if Joey McGuire wants to keep this job, a Division I power conference job, this is more than like, win on a field goal at the end. You have to win this game by 10 points or more. You got to give Red Raider Nation the ability to breathe this, a sigh of relief and be like, okay, like, it's tough early. We escaped 2-1. We were always freaked out about that Pullman game anyway. Let's go into Big 12 play. We're still alive. Everything's going to be okay. That's what this game needs to be. And if that's not, I know we were all like on Aranda or Sataki. Maybe it's McGuire that's getting the midseason canned. Like, if they couldn't win this game and it still be like, we may have, like, a booster may have to step in and do something. So I'm with you. I'm not necessarily feeling great about this pick, but I'm also not scared to pick a team that's back against the wall, and their back it's against the wall. It's like the drywall is actually starting to like come in and dent in the wall. That's how far their back is against the wall. That drywall may break if this game doesn't go according to plan. So Kennedy's on North Texas. He's making him fall through. So
there you go.
This is that very curious game.
All right, let's go over to the game of the day, baby. Let's go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Heinz Field, or whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. That stupid, filthy Acca shithole. That's what that name is. West Virginia, the Mountaineers laying 2 in the Backyard Brawl. Everybody knows what side we're going to be on. All right, we're gonna address something real quick. I keep seeing people throw out the phrase "home dog" out for this game. To be a home dog, to qualify as a home dog, you have to have more than 50% of the crowd. It is a neutral site game. It is the first time Pitt has sold out their stadium since week 1 of 2022. Who was their opponent? West fucking Virginia. So West Virginia sold out Pitt Stadium. Anything, there's more West Virginia fans. It was probably, 60-40 in favor of Pitt in 2022? That was them coming off the Kenny Pickett ACC championship. Pitt was at an all-time low coming into the year. The look ahead in the summer was 5.5. Yes, West Virginia lost to Penn State like they always do. Pitt beat a horrible Kent State team and then had a miracle comeback against Cincinnati. I don't get the line move. Mountaineers, run all over them. Lay it. Stay tuned for the lock.
I should have thought about my drinking cup a little better before this game. I'm drinking out of a Pittsburgh Pirates drinking cup. I don't know if it's good or a bad thing. But all jokes aside, West Virginia is by far the better team on paper in this game. Obviously, a rivalry game. We've said this a million times. We'll say it a million more times in the future. You can throw out the record books. You're going to usually get both teams' best punch. But I'm with you, Ryan. This isn't a home dog. Like, you got to show that you can, at least get 51% of your fan base in there. West Virginia is going to take this over the stadium, no problem. Colby did come on Ryan and Rush yesterday, and things to be aware about. Narduzzi is, he may struggle game managing and clock managing, but he can usually get his defense rolling. And then what's his last name? First name's Cade, their coordinator. Solid coordinator. He's done a good job. I mean, Pitt did come back in that Cincinnati game. They didn't fully lay down there. So the question's going to be, do they bring that momentum to this West Virginia game, or did they spend so much energy getting back to beat Cincinnati that they come out flat in this game? So I do like West Virginia in this game. Mountaineer Nation seems to be a little, and I mean, I'm not surprised by this, but a little more confident than I am, but I'm the paranoid one. I'm always nervous. So that doesn't mean much either way. I expect the game to be close, and hopefully West Virginia pulls out at the end. I really want to see us win by like 17. If we could win like 35-17, that would make me feel really good. We need to win by more. I know it's a 2-point spread, but we need to win by more. I'm obviously taking West Virginia on this. You absolutely have to. Look at the flags behind me. Kennedy's on Pitt.
Oh, Kennedy's
but it makes it even. He's helping us out with that. That's a friendly pick.
You're right. Cade Bell, son of Kerwin Bell, NFL great.
That's right.
Also, side note, Garrett Greene did not play the whole game last year. He got knocked out on the first possession with the whole game. Yeah, he got his ankle rolled up, so they were able to beat Pitt last year. So Garrett Greene, revenge spot. Mountaineers are the more desperate team too. 1-1. You don't want to
run.
You don't want to go 1-2.
Yeah.
What a better way to get back on track than beating those jabronis up north in Pittsburgh. Eat shit, Pitt. Let's go. All right. This game right here is sweet right here. Utah State. Cam Rising will not play unless Whittingham pulls some shenanigans on the injury report last second. I'll keep it simple, man. Same handicap as Tulsa and Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Utah goes through the motions, gets out of there with the 10-point win. Utah State's going to be juiced up to play this game. Zach Wilson's brother's not very good, by the way, so they better get Cam Rising back. I'll take the points. I'm not like 18.5 with Zach Wilson's brother.
We got to stop agreeing here, Ryan. We'll figure out some games to disagree on, but I'm all over this. Same game plan. Keep it conservative. Don't do it. This Oklahoma State Utah game next week is huge. Potentially this early in the season, winner of that game's going to the Big 12 Conference Championship. Cam Rising not in the game. You just play this conservative. Utah State's going to want to go at them too. I know this isn't necessarily the traditional Utah State that we've seen over the years pull off some major upsets. I mean, we've seen Utah State beat BYU. But, there is the big brother, little brother angle to this. They're going to want to, go at it, prove a point. It means more to Utah State. Utah just needs to get out of there with a win, and I think they'll have that mentality. Don't overdo it. Let's manage the clock. We'll be just fine. So I'm with you. I'll take the 18.5 with Utah State, and so will Kennedy.
Hey, real quick, Ryan Hasty, the pig farmer's not on Utah. He's on Utah State. So if anything, the pig farmer for Utah is on the other team. So it could be a revenge angle for the pig farmer against Utah. So yeah, stay tuned on that because I know they got some injuries over there at Utah. All right, real quick, we'll move over to the night slate with everybody's favorite Colorado Buffaloes. But first, I need to talk to you guys about BetUS. We're brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. Been around for 40 years. You can bet anywhere with this. Plus same game parlays and boosts. Absolutely the best. Easily depositable with cryptocurrency, and get lightning fast payouts today. Highlight. I love, man. I already touched about it. I love Kansas and K-State on Friday. So get on over there and get down some action over there at BetUS. And here's the nice thing with BetUS. Use our link to get a 125% deposit on your first three deposits. Go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS, and use that promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get on over there. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm and build your model. I gave out 2 on BetUS. Well, you know, I was going through my model today, and it just said, don't be a coward. Take the Mountaineers, baby. And that's all I needed to hear. I was going to take them anyway. But that's what my model over there at Rhythm, my model really knows me well, where he said, I think it was saying eat shit Pitt. So get on over there, build your model, how you like to handicap football today. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All righty, let's go over to the prime time. I love Rhythm, by the way. That's a great side note. Rhythm is a great place to build a model. I was diving into it earlier today. All right, Rush, what the hell are we going to do with this game?
I have no idea.
Colorado is going to Colorado State, Fort Collins, 7:30 CBS. Why the hell is Colorado in primetime again? I'm going to say what I said with North Dakota State. I am not laying points ever with Deion Sanders. Give me Colorado State. They're 0-2. Norvell, they got to get this thing going. Should have won the game last year. It's pretty much all they talked about in the offseason. They don't care what the other happens, the other 11 games. Ram it.
Talked about this game with Colby a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
Colorado State was really disappointing against Texas. I know we're talking about Texas, you know, a top 3 team in the country. But, you know, not to even get a little, you know, score a point in that game was a little disappointing. Obviously, this is Colorado State Super Bowl. They would love to stick it to Deion. They're remembering last year when you should have gone from 2 and you probably would have won that game. In real life, this kind of feels like unless I get a inclination last minute, I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Like I have no idea what to expect from this game. In full transparency, with our listeners, I'll switch it up on you. I'll go Colorado. I feel like, and you've seen this before, where sometimes these teams will play, especially rivals, a couple years in a row. And usually little brothers, like, we had that one chance and you lost that chance, and then it spirals into them not getting another chance for a couple more years. Colorado's very desperate. They got PR to worry about here. I don't like them the rest of the Big 12 schedule. I'll lay these points with Colorado, but man, if this is a tight game, which there's a very good chance it will be, or, you know, and even if Colorado loses, that play Boulder's about to be on freaking fire, which, you know, that may be a game where I'll lay the 7 with Colorado, but I have no problem paying the money to be wrong on it if it's a Colorado State money line. Kennedy's going to join you with Colorado State.
Let's ram it, baby. All righty. So there we go. We finally got a disagreement. 8 games in. Air Force is going to Baylor. Ooh. Baylor's laying 16.5. Baylor's got Colorado on deck. Big 12 play. I think Baylor blows it open late. Call me crazy. I think Air Force is bad this year. I think Air Force might be able with Calhoun to come around late, but give me Baylor as a little bit of a front runner here to pour it on late.
This is a rematch of a bowl game a couple years ago. I think it was it in Frisco when it was like Air freezing outside?
Freaking shit out of them.
Oh, we called that game. That was early in our podcasting days, Ryan. We were all over that. I think Baylor ends up pulling away in this game, but I'm not scared to take the points with Air Force. I feel like 16.5 is a little bit too much. If it was 13.5, maybe I'd go the other way, but these military academies can cause trouble. I know Baylor has a little bit of history now with Air Force, but another thing you got to think about with these high spreads against military academies, that if they're establishing the run and kind of controlling the game a little bit, yeah, maybe they don't score 7 every time, but they're looking to milk some clock. I think Baylor would be fine to win this game by, 10 points to 2 touchdowns and get out of there and prepare for Colorado. I don't see Baylor emptying out the playbook in this game. I think they just want to stick in control, get a little momentum, and just know that they've played their game. I could see this game actually being a rather quick one and that kind of clock keep running. I'll take the points with Air Force. Little now Falcons. We're disagreeing, Ryan. Yep.
There you go.
Falcons. Kennedy's going to join me. He's a former president. He's got to stick up for the military.
I'm interested in your take on this one. UCF, TCU, bounce house, good. Not the bounce house. They're away from the bounce house. TCU at home. UCF's laying 2.5. First game on the road. They look good at home. They look explosive. But I'm not laying points with KJ Jefferson on the road. Wrong team favored. TCU's going to beat them outright. Why are they favored? Everybody's fallen in love with UCF. We need to see it away from the bounce house. TCU still is a solid program. TCU's going to get it done here in Texas, Fort Worth.
This when we did our previews was the hardest game for me to figure out. I think in this game, the winner could go on to be 7-5, 8-4, while the loser in this game could be 6-6. This is a game that, could propel you into getting an extra game you normally wouldn't have gotten. I'm with you. I think the wrong team's favored in this game. I will take a home dog and 2 pretty evenly matched teams. No problem. I've been all off season that I do have concerns about KJ Jefferson being the quarterback at UCF. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I don't think he's the savior either. No. I'm really concerned about when he passes the ball. And I think Sonny Dykes is still a really good coach. Maybe I have a little concerns with Sonny Dykes and if his players respond to him like they did 2 years ago. But I think Sonny Dykes can outcoach Malzahn in this game easy. I'm with you. I have no problem taking these points with TCU. Kennedy's going to take UCF though.
He's taking them shiny nights on the road. All right, Rush. Rice is at Houston. Rice is located in Houston. Remember, this game, 43-41 instant classic. Rice wins outright against Dana Holgorsen last year in Houston. Tell you what, man. Willie Fritz coached him up last week. Houston's going to drill them. This is a game Houston's going to get right here, man. Houston's going to win by double digits, I think. I think Houston's going to start getting better and better. They got that hiccup or that egg out of the way against UNLV. They made some strides. Fritz is figuring out who his defensively, they look pretty good. They didn't lose that game defensively against UNLV. They kept turning it over offensively, and they only scored 12 points. I think they put it together finally offensively. I'll lay it with Houston.
Yeah, I don't think this Rice team is good as they were last year either.
Yeah, not even close.
This is and maybe looking back on, we had concerns about UNLV crushing Houston, but maybe Willie Fritz was like, look, I got to figure out more about this team. I got to see play. I'm willing to get crushed in this game to fix a couple things, to do some experimentation and just see what's going on, right? The long play. And that's something great coaches will do. They're not scared of the long play. In the NFL, we saw Bill Belichick always treat the first 4 games kind of like the real preseason. Hey, we'll get out of here 2-2 and then take off from there, sort of thing. I could see this happening as well. Not scared to lay the points here with Houston. I think this would be a real momentum shift from them. I think they built that momentum last week with Oklahoma in a game that they could have won. And this is hey, we're both local teams going against each other. Let's show that we do own this area, and in the future, right? I know Houston is a Power 5 team, whereas Rice isn't, but Fritz knows, hey, if I win this local area in terms of recruiting, in terms of standing out, this will get me a lot of points and make me look good within the community. So Yeah, I'm with you. I'll lay the 4.5 with Houston. And Kennedy will take Rice.
Oh, we took Rice. All righty.
Yeah.
Let's go. Uh-oh.
I know where this is going.
After dark. Laramie,
It might get dark.
Wyoming has been dog shit, just like Houston so far. They lost to an FCS. They lost by 100 at Arizona State. BYU coming in hot over their win against SMU. There is no way in hell I will lay 11 with BYU. I'll take the points. I'm just hoping BYU finds a way to grind this out at the end. But this is a scary game. I might take Wyoming as my dog.
Oh, dude, I already said the offseason, I'm like, BYU is going to beat SMU and then lose it to Wyoming. This game is just, oh man, hey, this game is just so predictable. I've seen it my whole life. Like this is just BYU football right here going to Laramie. Yeah. I mean, the good news is BYU does, the elevation's not going to affect them like it would another team going to Laramie, but this is unfortunately probably Wyoming's get right game. May not be, maybe joining you on the money line here. I will say at a minimum, when it comes to the spread, I called the BYU win over SMU. Take these points with Wyoming. This is free money. Not free money. I'm not reimbursing anyone because at the same time, I'm happy to be wrong and BYU, wins by 2 touchdowns. But at the same time, this is free money.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this game.
No, this is as predictable as it gets. I know exactly where this is going. Kennedy's even like, yeah, I've seen this before. Plus 11. I'm not soaking this weekend.
All right, Russ, let's get to our lock dog and we'll give out a round robin lock. Number 1, we'll do 2 locks each. Lock number 1. Let's go Friday night. Kansas State -7.
I'm going to join you on that lock as well. Kansas State -7, easy.
Lock number 2. Man, I just want to get my 2 winners out of the way. Kansas -8.5. I'm just gonna go back to back. I'll.
I don't know if I want to be a little. I gotta mix it up a little bit different from you. You know what? I kind of like a lot of these picks this week, and that shows where my record will probably go. Me liking my picks. I'm gonna go Tulsa actually, 18.5. I might end up regretting that one. Actually, no, I'm not. It's a lock. We're doing it. I think it's going to be a conservative game plan.
Yeah, and of course we're on the brawl lock. That's just a.
Well, that's
just a given lock.
We got played a little superstitious, right? We can't. We got to be a little humble about it.
No doubt.
I wonder what my dog's going to be.
This is a little guy here, +115 over there. I'm seeing TCU.
Oh, that's a good dog, actually. I've been calling it all off season. I'm going Wyoming here.
Oh man, I really hope you're wrong. I hope BYU just finds a way.
Yeah. I'm more than happy. Like, there's a part of gambling, right? Yeah. Where it's like, you know what? I'll give up $20 if it means a BYU win, right? I'll pay for this win. But hey, if it doesn't happen, at least you've made some money out of it.
Emotional hedge.
I've just seen it too many times in my life. I don't even think I'm being that emotional. I've just witnessed it. I've just seen it. So it's, even last time these guys played, I think it was actually in Provo a couple years ago. I mean, it was BYU covered, but it was still kind of like, these teams have history. These teams hate each other. Like,
no doubt.
This is a solid secondary rivalry that a lot of people don't talk about. They're great 90s games between these two schools.
Rush, let me ask you this. Do you want to give out a Kansas Friday night parlay, KU and K-State together?
Yep, absolutely.
If you want to do the money lines together, if you want to be safe, everybody, it's around -120. If you want to go that route, but if you want to get frisky and take both my locks, that's +270. K-State -7, KU -8.5. Rush had K-State as -7 as one of his locks. For our money line round robin, we're going to throw Wyoming and TCU in. Those were strong agreements. And then do we want to throw Miami of Ohio in there again?
Why not?
I mean, dude,
Why not?
are you going to be
week
shocked?
3.
Yeah, this is when it happened last year.
This is when that 33-1 hit week 3.
33-1 hit last year. We did it.
Yeah, we got 33, the triple threes.
Yeah, our big ones, Wyoming. Where's our guys over at Miami of Ohio? Plus 150. It won't be 33-1 this year, guys. It'll be 22-1. That is in the noon slate. We're taking Miami of Ohio plus 150 on the money line against Cincinnati. Again, deja vu as last year. I think last year was like plus 600. So fantastic, that game. TCU plus 110 in the primetime 7 o'clock window. And then we'll get to the after dark plus 330 on the money line with the Cowboys of Wyoming.
Let me ask you something. If you were to throw West Virginia in there, would that make it 33-1?
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
We did 3 teams last year, but we throw the West Virginia because 2 of these matchups are just a repeat from last year. The Miami of Ohio, Cincinnati.
I know we're West just Virginia, missing BYU.
We're going opposite on BYU.
Let's go. Where's TCU? Get over here, TCU, you fuckers. 39-1. There you go. You got the juice back, Rush. Good call. All right. So we threw 3 dogs and a favorite, and we just threw the greatest favorite of all time. West Virginia's minus 130, Miami of Ohio plus 150, TCU plus 110, and then Wyoming plus 330. And then we also have our Sunflower Showdown parlay with KU and K-State. Go Wildcats, go Jayhawks. It's gonna be a fun weekend, brother.
Can't wait. Everyone needs 5 minutes from now. Catch us over Ryan and Rush Show.
And make sure you get on over there to get the SGPN merch store to get your Eat Shit Pitt shirts. I got mine. And I think it's in the washing machine right now. I wore it on Sunday as soon as we beat Albany. I was like, I got to set the tone for the week. And then, I had too many beers on Sunday, so I think I spilled something on it. So I was like, let me go wash this, get it ready for Saturday. Probably was one of those 22 beers I had on Sunday during NFL Week 1. I don't know. Who knows? I'm a mess.
Rip up a 30 rack and just start from noon.
No doubt. Oh, I can't wait to just drink all day Saturday and watch all these games and just yell at the TV. It's going to be fantastic. Like Rush said, we'll be over at the Ryan and Rush Show here in 5 minutes, breaking down the Brawl one last time. As much as I love the Brawl, I'm tired of talking about it. Ready to just get out there and beat their ass and make it 4 out of 5, 17 out of 25 in the series. Our state versus their little neighborhood. Let's go, baby. And then Noah Beanick and I will be back at 9 o'clock to break down the Patriot League over at the College Basketball Experience. So make sure you check all the channels out. We all come together as one. YouTube.com/the College Experience. He's at Rambling Rush. At Troy Chewning is somewhere drunk on a golf course. And I am at Moneyline_Mac. We are the Big 12 College Experience. And we are out of here. Go Ears. Eat shit, Pitt.
Cheers, beers, Mountaineers.